This is my review of the Lumix ZS50 or TZ70. On the back, you have a 3-inch LCD, which is nice and bright. It's pretty good for taking photos outside. It's also composed by over a million dots, so the resolution of the screen it's surprisingly good. On the corner, you have a electronic viewfinder, which you don't usually find on compact cameras, but it's actually a pretty good feature to have because if it's surprisingly bright outside and you need to compose a picture, it's better using the viewfinder than the LCD. Also, the viewfinder it's composed by over 1.16 million dots, so the resolution on it it's pretty good. On the side, right there, you have a proximity sensor, which means that when you're using the camera and you bring it close to your face, it's going to turn off the LCD and switch over to the viewfinder on its own. Right there. It's actually a laser proximity sensor. Let me see. Maybe you can see it blinking right there. But it works pretty well. Also, one of the advantages of using the viewfinder over the LCD is that if you're gonna take a picture and you use the zoom all the way through, it's going to provide some stabilization. So your image is gonna be a lot sharper than if you were using the LCD only. On top, you have a smiling face. Those are the stereo mics and the speaker. This is the wheel with other special features: intelligent auto, program, aperture, shutter, manual mode, custom 1 and custom 2. Those are for you to set up as you please. Panorama, scene, and creative mode. This is the shutter, zoom level, power on and off, the record button. As you can see, the camera has a grip right here, which is going to help you keep it steady. And it has a thumb rest on the back, also for the same reason. You can have a nice grip on it. It has a focus ring. Well, it's not a focus ring, it has a ring around the lens, which you can use for either zooming in and out or focusing. I personally have it set for focus. Some of the photo specs of the camera include the 30 times optical zoom lens with image stabilization. Let me show you what the lens looks like fully extended. Right there, as you can see. The camera has a 12 megapixels, a CMOS sensor, and the battery life is good enough for around 300 shots. ISO from 80 to 6400, but personally I don't like shooting past ISO 800. That's when the photos start to become surprisingly grainy. So anything below 800 should be okay. The camera can shoot RAW and JPEG, and also RAW and JPEG at the same time. However, the RAW photos are not the raw photos you expect to find on a DSLR. So there's very little you can do with them. Not to mention that the raw format for this particular Panasonic cameras it isn't supported by many other photo editing software. The camera has live view, manual focus, and 23 different focus points. So that's a really good thing. If you can take a picture or something, it's going to help you focus on your subject a lot quicker. Burst mode ranges from 10 frames per second at full resolution for 6 photos, 40 frames per second at 5 megapixels, and 60 frames per second at 2.5 megapixels. I'm going to include a sample right now. Now we're going to test burst mode. The first one is going to be 10 frames per second. The second one is going to be 40 frames per second. And the final one is going to be 60 frames per second. Okay, here we go. Other preset shooting modes in the camera include the following: portrait, soft skin, scenery, which is landscape, sports, night portrait, night scenery, handheld night shot, HDR, which is pretty effective, food, baby 1 and 2, pet, sunset, high sensitivity. That's usually using high ISO. I'm not a big fan of it. Starry sky, through glass, high speed video, and 3D photos. Some of the most advanced shooting modes on the camera include program, which is basically auto. The only difference is that you have some manual input on if you want to change a few things here and there. You have A, which is aperture, that controls the how much the lens is going to open. S for shutter speed, that one will control how long the lens is going to stay open. So the longer the lens stays open, if it's on a dark area, your focus is going to come out a lot brighter. However, it's required to use a tripod when you're going to use slow shutter speed. And M is for manual, which will allow you to control pretty much everything on the camera yourself. But that's usually for more experienced users. The camera it's also capable of shooting video in full HD. It can be done at 1080p at 50 frames per second and 25 frames per second, 720p at 50 frames per second and 25 fps in either MP4 or ABCHD format. You can also shoot standard video in BGA format, 640 x 480 at 25 frames per second. High-speed video is also another feature of the camera that can be done at 720p at 120 frames per second and 480p at 240 frames per second. However, high-speed video won't have any sound, but on the bright side, the video quality is actually pretty good. The slow motion effect looks fantastic, especially if you have a good enough light for 240 frames per second. The video length is going to vary between 30 to 35 minutes. And it's also going to depend on the memory card that's inside your camera. It's required to use at least a class 10. Anything below that might not be fast enough. So if you start using the movie mode, the camera might stop recording. So it's recommended to do class 10 or higher. The camera can also take photos while recording video. All you need to do is press the shutter button and it's going to take a picture without stopping the video. However, you can only do that for 9 pictures. I'm not exactly sure why they chose 9, but that's the limit of it. Two of the best features that the camera has is NFC and Wi-Fi. Now, One thing that's surprisingly good about this camera, it's the remote shooting. So when you control the camera through a smart device, either Android or iOS. I used to own a Nikon LA40 and a Canon SX530HS. Both of those cameras had Wi-Fi. However, shooting remotely through your iOS or smart device was kind of tricky, mostly because that was all you could do. You could just take a picture. And in the case of the Nikon, the app itself will compress the photo. So the resolution wasn't that great. Same thing with the Nikon. However, this one doesn't seem to compress the photo. And better yet, unlike the Nikon and the Canon, this one has a lot more features. You can actually customize pretty much all the settings of the camera through your phone or iPad or iPhone, which the Nikon and the Canon didn't allow you to do. I'll include a sample of that after this. Now, I'm going to show you how to connect your camera to your phone. So, all you need to do is turn the camera on, and once it's on, press the Wi-Fi button right there. It's going to say please wait, and then that's going to come out. Let's put the camera to the side for a moment. Then go to your phone and launch the Panasonic app right there. Click on QR code and then just scan the screen on the camera with your phone, like so. Then it's going to connect. Just give it a minute. You're gonna see a message. So it says connecting. Wait for it. See, the camera now says on the remote control. Once it's connected, you're going to get two options: transfer image or remote operations. We're going to go on remote operations. It's going to give you an option, change to recording mode. You click on yes. The lens is going to extend on the camera, as you can see, and now you can control it remotely. This is to zoom in and out. Let's zoom in. A bit too much. Right there. Okay, there you go. That's my Funko Pop action figure from Civil War, Giant Man. Now, if you want to focus on it, you could just tap it, and it's going to focus. And to take a picture, you just need to press the shutter right here. There you go. Took a picture. And if you want to take video, if you want to take video, all you need to do is press the button on the top. Let's put that to the test. First, let's zoom out, refocus, and record. Now it's recording video at 1080p at 30 frames per second, 25 frames per second. Let's zoom in. As you can see, you can still take video and control the camera through your phone. And you can also refocus while taking video. Let's zoom out again. I'll add the video and the photo I just took onto the review so that you can see the quality of the images and the videos during remote operations. Let's stop it. There you go. Now if you click here, you can go onto the settings of the camera through your phone. The flash, you can turn it on and off, slow sync or red eye. I have it off right now. Aspect ratio, I have it on 16:9. Picture quality, as you can see, full quality, 9 megapixels. Well, not full, but really high quality, 9 megapixel. It can go higher, but since I have the aspect ratio set to 16 by 9, I can only do 9 megapixels, but it can go up to 12. Picture quality set to fine, standard, or raw and fine. See, you got all the options. Focus mode, you can change those also. Mirroring mode and video quality. So as you can see, you basically have full operations of the camera through your device. You don't usually see that, like I said, on either the Canon camera that I owned before and the Nikon one. Now if you want to transfer images, you can just click here and it's going to take you to the images that are already saved on the camera. Right there. This is the photo we just took. I'll add it onto the video. It looks really great on the phone. I don't think you can tell, but you'll see it once I put on the video. But as you can see, the remote operations of the camera, it's really fantastic. But yeah, there you go. My final thoughts on the camera. Personally, I think it's pretty great. Image quality, it's really good. Colors are very accurate. The photos are sharp. The noise on the photo is kind of low, especially if you keep it under ISO 800. The lower the better. The only problem I have is the positioning of the flash, which is right above the grip. So when you hold the camera the way you're supposed to, like this, sometimes your finger lands right under the flash. So when it fires, most of the light is blocked by your finger. So usually I just hold it like this. Problem solved. I think it's a pretty good buy. Give it a shot. As far as compact cameras go, this one's pretty good. The zoom is great, image stabilization is even better, video quality is great, and the advanced features like the Wi-Fi and the ability to control your camera remotely and do all those changes is pretty great. So there's a newer version of this one, so maybe you might want to consider that one instead. However, if you find this one, which is gonna be a hell of a lot cheaper, I recommend you going for it. It's a really nice camera. It's really compact, packs a bunch of zoom, and it's well built, great pictures. So I recommend it. So thank you for watching the review. Take care and have a nice day. Now it's recording video at 1080p at 30 frames per second, 25 frames per second. Let's zoom in. As you can see, you can still take video and control the camera through your phone. And you can also refocus while taking video. Let's zoom out again. I'll add the video and the photo I just took onto the review so that you can see the quality of the images and the videos during remote operations.